This message is for all the people that are complaining that they're not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money?
They used it for food in October.
To everybody complaining about the price of toilet paper, what did you do with last month's toilet paper?
Hi, I'm here to pick up my prescription. You want a refill on your prescription? Let me ask you this. What happened to last month's prescription? I used it.
I think MAGA reaches a point where they actually forget they're also poor. Ladies and gentlemen, how do you wake up and ask people, where did you put all the money for last month's food stamp? Meanwhile, her herself, she had made TikTok videos like 3 months ago talking about how she needed more than 2 jobs to survive.
Or did you just go buy a bunch of processed garbage?
You know that dry ass toast you're choking down is processed too, right? You guys know that I've always said I don't kink shame, but I'm going to make an exception because I don't understand this kink. I'll never understand it. Taking pleasure in knowing that families are going to go hungry, elderly people, disabled people are going to go hungry, like kids are going to go hungry, like what is this called? What do you call this? People who get off on knowing that parents are gonna have to tell their kids, like, hey guys, if we wanna have Thanksgiving dinner, we're gonna have to go to the food pantry. Or parents who are gonna have to possibly ration their baby's formula because they don't have enough money. And the way that she's ascribing this morality to poverty and to hunger, like if you are hungry or you are poor, it is your fault. It is a moral failing of your own. Not at all mentioning the systems that make people poor and keep people poor. Another thing she fails to mention or understand is that so many of us, herself included, are just one medical emergency away, one car accident away, one natural disaster away, one round of layoffs away from being one of the people who is standing in line at the food pantry. And apathy is one thing, not caring whether people eat or not, that's one thing. But this is sadistic. This is sadism. This is pathological. Like taking pleasure and being like, well, it's your own fault that you can't eat. Flaunting food in people's faces in situations where their food is no longer stable.
What did you do with October's food stamp money? What'd you do?
Well, I don't know, Sarah Meth. Perhaps they spent October's food stamps in October? Like, what the... George Bush, you will pay for your crimes because these children should have been left behind. But unfortunately, they weren't. And now they're adults with access to the internet and total use of free will. I'm going to start calling this the J-Lo theory. Whenever you give people full unmonitored access to something, whether it be a mic, a phone, social media, whatever it is, and total use of free will, they will use that thing regardless of if it sounds good or if it makes a lick of sense. This is what Trump means when he says smart people don't like me, because what do you mean she made this video in regard to November food stamps asking what people did with their October food stamps? If Johnny had 5 apples, Methany, I know y'all be hooked on everything but phonics, so I'm going to hold your hand with a napkin in between when I say this. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And I know supplemental is a big word for Elmo. That means it's supposed to supplement or help them get groceries for that month. What did you think the S stood for, savings or something? Like, what the... Then she's talking about the government is shut down because of the Democrats. That's why you're not getting your food stamps. Mind you, the Republicans are in control of the House, the Senate, the White House, and the Supreme Court. But the party with the minority is to blame for the government shutdown. Right. And double, mind you, she on here talking about people losing their food stamps. Whole time Streets is saying she lost her kids. I fear we're worried about the wrong loss, nigga, but I don't... I fear you have way more to be worried about than what people are doing with their food stamps. Put down the phone, stop kissing your cuzzling husband, and worry about yourself. Hope this helps. Peace and love.
This message is for all the people that have been complaining about not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamps? What did you do with October's food? What'd you do? Did you stock up on pantry items? Try to shop smartly, like at Whole Foods? Or did you spend it all on poor people junk food because it's cheaper? By the way, you can thank the Democrats for the government shutdown because in a Republican-controlled House, a Republican-controlled Senate, and a Republican president, it's the Democrats' fault that the government is shut down and that you're not getting your benefits. Looks like you're going to be going to the food pantry for your Thanksgiving meal. I love seeing poor people suffer. Y'all better figure it out too, because I'm sick of hearing you complain. I like my taxpayer money to go to billionaires in the war machine, not your poor ass kids. And I may not have custody of mine, but when mine come over to visit, we have stuff in our pantry.
I loved seeing the fact that we got so many white people calling this woman's BS out now, because most of the times people be like, black people are talking, everything about black people. But it's white people that are calling her out on her BS. And if you want to know, yeah, she deleted all those videos. She tried to do like an apology video and people ate her up. Like, don't play with us. What do you mean you're also poor, but you're actually out here talking about how people should have saved last? Do you expect people not to eat? Do you want them to die? Street people, people that are homeless, what do you expect them to do? Talking about you should have saved the money for last month so you can be able to afford the month of November. Meanwhile, her herself, she needs more than 2 jobs to secure her life. And on top of that, shout out to y'all white people. They dug some real nasty information on her. Her herself, she lost custody of her 2 children. You know why? Because she was too poor. Yeah. So next time, when you come on the internet coming for poor people, remember you're not a billionaire. DJT, the orange man, the president of the United States of Israel, he don't care about you, girl. You were broke even if you're white. And I'm gonna do another video where she actually blames the Democrats for losing their food stamps. Yes, I say that. She woke up and made a video and she said, shout out to all the Democrats. Now we lost our food stamps. It's all about the Democrats, huh? They made us lose their money. Oh, really? It'll be too long. But for now, let me show you people's reactions because they ate her out.
This video is for all the people complaining about the price of tampons. What'd you do with last month's tampons? Huh? Did you throw them away? Or did you ever think about rinsing them out and letting them sun dry? Using them again? Think smarter. What about buying the store brand instead of the name brand? Huh? Did you think about using the same one for the whole day instead of taking it out every time it starts to leak just a little bit? What about, toxic shock syndrome is made up by the Democrats anyway. What about sharing them? You and your teenage daughter don't need your own tampons. Maybe you could try skipping a month. Don't have a period. Get pregnant. Then you don't have a period.
This message is for all the people that are complaining that they're not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money?
The fact that she felt comfortable enough to post that video speaks volumes about humanity right now. The vast majority of Americans are one paycheck away from not being able to afford their basic needs. Food, shelter, one paycheck. And judging from most of her videos, she's probably in that category. The fact of the matter is, there was a hunger issue in the United States before the government shutdown, before the threat of the elimination of SNAP benefits for the month of November. Now, could this just be a government scheme and they're going to swoop in at the last minute and save everybody just for clout? Probably. But that doesn't negate the fact that this is still an issue. And it's not a financial literacy issue. It's not a matter of how are you spending your money. Because when you're working 3 jobs that pay $15 an hour to try to support yourself and your family, but the cost of housing, the cost of gas, the cost of food keeps rising, but your pay is not keeping up, and instead of spending our money on us to help make our society better, they're spending it on renovations and private jets. That's not a financial literacy issue. That is a moral and an ethical issue. Anyway, I saw another creator post on here the other day that ramen costs less than, and she suggested that we hand out ramen instead of candy for Halloween. Now, while that is a really good thought in theory, no matter how much you're struggling, simple joys are necessities to keep going forward. So I would encourage you that if you are going to do that,
to not only give ramen, but also give candy. And I don't think that that's what she was suggesting, to only give ramen. I just wanted to add that in there. And I know I, for one, am encouraging my students to do trick or canning this year. The fact of the matter is that people are in need. And we need to meet that need together as a community with kindness, empathy, and compassion, and solutions, not ridicule and shame.
This message is to all the people complaining about their SNAP and EBT benefits going next month. Let me ask you this. What'd you do with October's money, huh? Hi, I'm here to pick up my prescription. You want a refill on your prescription? Let me ask you this. What happened to last month's prescription? I used it. Oh, waiter, can I get a refill of my water, please? Let me ask you this. What happened to the water I gave you 10 minutes ago? I drank it. Interesting. Boss, I don't think you paid me for last week. Let me ask you this. What happened to the week before's paycheck, huh? Where'd that money go? I don't think that's how that works. Exactly. Teacher, I have to use the restroom. Let me ask you this. What happened to the time you went to the bathroom this morning, huh? That was hours ago. I have to go again. Interesting.
I was just watching the Crunchy Toast video where the lady is sitting there eating her toast with the butter and peanut butter, asking welfare recipients or food stamp recipients what they do with their food stamps from last month. And did they shop appropriately? And did they stock up? And did they do all this and do all that, whatever? And basically called them lazy for not going out and getting another job and a whole bunch of other nonsense. I was a welfare mom. I was a single mother for 11 years. And I worked 2 jobs. I drove a school bus Monday through Friday, and I cashiered Friday through Sunday. So yeah, I worked 2 jobs on Fridays, worked 7 days a week. I even did that all the way through the pregnancy for my son. And heck, I had to go back to work when he was 2 weeks old because I had to pay the bills. Because my oldest daughter's dad ditched me as soon as he found out that I was pregnant. And my youngest two's father is not an American citizen, and he went back to his country of origin. And so I was never even entitled to get child support from him because his country and ours don't have a child support agreement between them, and so I could never even collect. So yeah, I did what I had to do. And I was the first person in my family to ever have to go to the government for any kind of assistance. So that was very humiliating. I had to go to downtown Flint, Michigan. Yeah, the place is all with the wonderful water. Because I lived in the burbs, but I still had to go to Flint and Genesee County. And it was a scary part of town to go get food stamps. And that was back in the days when the food stamps were actually paper food stamps. Now you get a bridge card. There was no bridge card. I had to stand in line and get my food stamps. Or I had to go to the WIC office in downtown Flint. I'll never forget sitting there, and one child cried, and the entire sea of children cried at the same time. There was, I swear, 100 kids in there, all screaming at the top of their lungs. But I had to do that. Sit there with my children, and yeah, because I had to feed them. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't want to be there. I didn't make it a lifestyle, but I knew what I had to do for my kids. And when you down people for doing what they have to do for their kids, you're basically saying it doesn't matter that your children are going to go to sleep hungry at night, that their little tummies are going to rumble, and that it's all your fault. Them kids didn't ask for it. They didn't ask to be born in the circumstances that they were born into. But you know what? Thank God they were born. Because, you know, a lot of people that can't afford them just abort them. So they're lucky little guys to have been born to begin with. And then you're telling their mothers that, you know, shame on them basically for having them, that you don't want to pay to help feed them, their children. They didn't ask for this. So, yeah. Do I think we need to feed the world's people? No, we can't. We don't have the money for that. But do I think we can all get up off a little bit of something to help feed ours? Yeah. I think we have to. It's a human right. So, yeah. Not everybody is trying to game the system. Not everybody isn't just trying to feed their children. And not only that, but I mean, we have people that are, you know, mentally ill, are handicapped, are elderly. I mean, we have people that we need to feed. So sitting there and humiliating, downgrading, berating, belittling people for needing a hand up, I don't get down with that. Because I've been there. I'm not there anymore. I work every day. I do my videos from my truck on my way to work because I have to. I have to work. And, but there was a time I needed help. So, yeah. Anyways, that's my 2 cents on it. Do I want to pay every freeloading, person that wants to game the system? Nope. But will I sacrifice a little bit of that to feed the children and the people that can't feed themselves? Yeah, every day of the week. So my plan today also is to get groceries and take some of them over to the food bank. Maybe you should too.
This video is for all the church folk complaining that they can't pay their bills and they're concerned that food stamps are going to be cut off next month. What'd you do with your 10% of your income last month, and the month before that, and the decade before that? You didn't put it in an account, savings, stack it up, invest? Did you take it up to that pastor who's been lying to you from the pulpit? Did you stand in a line and get humiliated because you only had $27.50 and he asked you for $27,000.50? Did you stand in Juanita Bynum's line where she said God needs your help to pay some bills? Did you give it to the building fund where your great-great-great-great-granddaddy was still paying on that same building? That building's been paid for 4 times already. Did you give it to your first fruits offering? The day of giving offering? Don't forget the Jesus wept offering. You know who you can blame for this, right? Colonization, programming and conditioning. You can also blame your refusal to think critically. Maybe you should read my book.
Food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money?
They probably used them to buy food so they could eat and feed their families, probably children, because we have to eat food to survive and live. So in November, the food stamps help families and people also eat food to live.
This is for all the people complaining about not getting food stamps for November. What'd you do with October's food stamps? Did you fill up your pantry and be smart? Or did you just buy a bunch of processed stuff? Kind of like this bread process. Looks like you're gonna have to be going to the food pantry for your Thanksgiving meal. I mean, they give out turkeys. They give out all the trimmings. You know, I just saw one lady on here saying she made $1,100 in food stamps. I mean, have you ever had this as a meal? It's really good. It's toast with peanut butter and butter. A little dry. But, you know, I'm sick of you guys complaining on here. You could blame Richard Nixon for the government shutdown. It's hard to swallow. So, how much I can make that last, all that money? I mean, it's just me here. My son and daughter come to visit sometimes, but they've cut me off, no contact. I don't know why, but I'm just tired of hearing y'all complaining.
To all the people complaining gas prices are too high, What'd you do with the last tank of gas you had? Did you siphon off some from another car and put it in gas cans for later? Or did you just go get premium when you know you needed regular unleaded? By the way, you can thank the Democrats for these gas prices.
This is a message for everyone who is complaining about me on the internet. You're the problem. You're probably a Democrat. You're probably on welfare, getting $1,100 a month, buying processed food. You're the problem. I'm not the problem. You see this sandwich? This Bishop Bride chomping on? This has the tears of all my ex-boyfriends. All the ones that said, bitch, you're crazy. The ones that changed their phone numbers. Moved to a different state, different county. They're the problem. They're probably on welfare right now. They're probably at the food bank, the food pantry. Hopefully they starve on Thanksgiving. You know? Yeah. You know who else is the problem? That bitch at Kohl's didn't give me a discount. She's a problem. My daughter, who hasn't spoken to me in 12 years, she's the fucking problem. Maybe she'll be at the food bank too. But I can spread $1,100 and buy non-processed food for a whole month. You know, I live on peanut butter and butter sandwich. You should try it. You should try it, bitch. I have 2 jobs. Oh, I have 1 job. So what? My job or my ex-job, they're the problem. They don't align with my views. That's okay. I'm going to apply for ICE right after this video.
This video is for all the people complaining they're not going to get their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamp money? You notice how I'm talking with my mouth full? It really emphasizes my point. What are you gonna do now? I guess you could go. Sorry, I'm gonna do a little bit of tongue scraping. I guess you could go to the food pantry, but I'm curious. Let me do some mouth smacking now. I'm curious. What did you do with your October food stamp money? At least the food pantries, you can get a turkey still. Do you notice how I'm smacking my food and chewing with my mouth open? It really emphasizes my point, so I must be right.
This message is for all the people that have been complaining about not getting their food stamps for November. What did you do with October's food stamps? What did you do with October's food? What'd you do? Did you stock up on pantry items? Try to shop smartly, like at Whole Foods? Or did you spend it all on poor people junk food because it's cheaper? By the way, you can thank the Democrats for the government shutdown because in a Republican-controlled House, a Republican-controlled Senate, and a Republican president, it's the Democrats' fault that the government is shut down and that you're not getting your benefits. Looks like you're gonna be going to the food pantry for your Thanksgiving meal. I love seeing poor people suffer. Y'all better figure it out too, because I'm sick of hearing you complain. I like my taxpayer money to go to billionaires in the war machine, not your poor ass kids. And I may not have custody of mine, but when mine come over to visit, we have stuff in our pantry.